Hey. Testing. Is that working?
Yeah. Yes.
It is. I mean, I'm not sure I need it, but other speakers may need it, so. Well, welcome everybody. I'm Chris Durkee. I'm the chair of Palisades Neighborhood Association. Thank you all for coming and for joining us. First, I'd like to acknowledge our appreciation for the Park Academy. This is an amazing institution. We are so fortunate to have these folks in our town and in our neighborhood. These are 115 students, grades 3 through 8, who struggle with language and learning challenges. They're currently in their 20th year. They draw students from all over the state, including out of state. This is a remarkable institution. So, and I think they've hosted 3 or 4 anyway, general meetings here. So they've been wonderful hosts, wonderful neighbors. And if you're interested, the QR code will take you to TED Talks that will talk about some of the students and how they've excelled here. Okay, I'd like to introduce our board members. Area 1, John Thies is our treasurer. John. Area 2, Chuck Buck. Chuck here. Chuck was at the welcome table, so you probably all met him. Area 3 is Elisa Williams. Elisa is the chair of the Community Health and Sustainability Advisory Board, which is meeting tonight. So she'll be arriving, but a little bit later. Area 4, Jenny Cherrytree. Area 5, Carrie Love, vice chair. Area 6 is open. We're looking for a board member for Area 6. Area 7, Cyrus Lee is out of town at the minute. Area 8, Nancy Sage, our Parks and Rec person. Area 9, Meg Wilkinson. I haven't seen her yet, but I expect her to join us. Area 10, Bryce Secord, one of our newer board members. Area 11, Rob Heap. Rob handles our traffic and pathways issues. Area 12, David Westerdahl. I believe he's coming, but
also on the crowd board.
Yeah, oh, that's right. He's on that same meeting with Elisa. Area 13 is an open position on the board, another position we would love to fill in the next year. And the past chair, we are so fortunate to have Frederick Labios with us. You need to know all this, yes, all this organization was set by her. Carrie and I are beneficiaries of the structure and organization that Frederick built. And special guests, I'd like to welcome Lynn Peterson. Lynn, you want to stand up for a second? Lynn is our new city manager, and she's recently the Metro Council president, Lake Oswego resident for 30 years, was the chair of the First Edition Neighborhood Association, then served on Lake Oswego City Council, and has held all kinds of senior level positions in transportation, both in the state of Washington and in Oregon. So we're fortunate to have you on our town running things, and fortunate to have you here with us tonight. We'll have to have you at one of our board meetings as our guest speaker.
Yeah.
You can.
All right. And if you want to write down my cell number. Ooh. So you have it. I just want to make sure that I'm as accessible as I possibly can be. And I haven't memorized the number yet. So the cell number is 971 917 1925. Did you get that? One more time. 971 917 1925. All right. And I will take that call anytime. As a former elected, I take calls anytime. I'm very used to it. And I am just looking forward to helping you make this community as great as it can be, because it has always been amazing. Has given me so much. It's time to give back. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. Another special guest is Nancy Dundas. Nancy.
I have a trivia question for you.
Okay.
Does anyone here know when this building originally was?
Yes. National Guard got
All Revere and the Raiders played in here. I owe you every dance.
Nancy is our resident historian and writer. Nancy wrote a column in the Lake Oswego Review on the history of Lake Oswego, every issue for about 10 years. And then she compiled all of those stories into a book. But she's retired from that business, but she's blessed us with the ability to publish each of her stories in our monthly newsletter. So be sure to read them, and amazing stories about the history of our city.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Denise. And Ellen Steele is a distinguished guest. Ellen was the past chair of the McVeigh South Shore Neighborhood Association. She served on this South Shore Fire Station Task Force with Carrie and me, and she's now on our PAC committee advocating for the bond for the new fire station. And she's going to give a presentation on that project right now.
Right now.
Keep it this night. Okay, be more than that. And I'm getting already where you need to be. All right.
Hi, everybody. So do I need to do this for people on a Zoom call?
There we go. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay,
There it is.
okay. All right, so I'm Ellen Steele, and I actually live in the McVeigh South Shore neighborhood, but this is our fire station right across the street, and my neighborhood backs right up to it. So I'm here to give you an update. I feel like you've probably heard a lot about this at your past neighborhood meetings, but I'll just summarize where we are today. And one of the main reasons I'm here is to ask for your support. There's going to be a bond measure on the ballot in May, bond measure 3635. It's called Rebuild the South Shore Fire Station for Community Safety. It's a very descriptive name. You recognize it. Please vote yes for this. This is an important effort, and that's why I'm here. So I was a member of the task force, and there were 17 of us appointed by the city council, and we evaluated this for about a year. And this fire station is 55 years old. It's falling apart. It's the HVAC system doesn't work. It's got infestations. It's built out of concrete and brick and mortar. If there's an earthquake, it's going to fall down. It's really in bad shape, and they've been holding it together for the last 15 years. So we evaluated, first of all, do we really need 4 fire stations in the city of Lake Oswego? And the answer was yes, we did. We did some modeling. Right now, we enjoy very rapid response times. If there's an emergency, the standard is to have a response team to your house within 8 minutes. In Lake Oswego, we are less than 6 minutes. And that is because we have 4 fire stations, and they're in a dynamic call out where they assign who's closest and who's available. So chances are it's going to be this station if you're here, but it might not be if they're already out on call. The other stations backfill behind them. And another thing you might not know, maybe Chris has told you this before, but the Lake Oswego firefighters are all paramedics, which is very unusual. That is not the case in many fire departments, but they are all paramedics here. So that means if you get a team sent to your house, you have 3 paramedics coming to help you. If you're having a medical emergency, of which in Lake Oswego, 70% of the calls are not for fires, they're for medical emergencies. And most of those are for people that are, over age 65, over age 70. 2 sets of responders are sent in that case if there's an acute medical emergency or a cardiac event. So you're getting 6 paramedics. So as a result of that, plus the fact that there are 4 fire stations that are working together, we have twice the survival rate of the national average of anybody that's having an acute medical event. So that's something to be proud of. We're gonna go backwards.
Sure.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say, we looked at, first we established, yes, we need 4 fire stations. Lake Oswego is unusual because of our geography. We've got a lake in the middle of the town. We've got a railroad track. It's possible that this station is the only one that could get to you because the other ones maybe couldn't. So then we said, well, where does it need to be? And we evaluated possible locations, determined, did some modeling, determined that the location it's at now is the perfect location. the response times were unacceptable in our other scenarios where we chose different locations. So then we thought, well, can we work with what we have? Can we remodel it? There wasn't a single thing in the current station that we could reuse, so we have to start it. So that is what our measures for gonna be on the ballot in May. The new station, we evaluated. We did comps, I guess you could say we did comps. We looked at 9 other stations, we looked at the price per square foot to price it out, we looked at the requirements. The new station, it will be designed to be seismically stable, so it'll stay up in an earthquake, it'll be built to all standards. It will have proper decontamination stations, so firefighters go out now and they're in these buildings that are built with all these synthetic materials that come back covered with chemicals. Cancer's the main cause of death in former firefighters, so they need to wash that stuff off. And they need special decontamination, so we're not building like a regular building, it's just walls. We have to build a building with some special unique needs, because it's a fire station. Currently, it holds two vehicles, and it's so tight in there that if they're both in there and there's a call, sometimes the firefighters have to run outside and come in the side door, get into the driver's seat. Before they take out, they're so tight. So the new station will have room for 4, including a wildfire response truck. Okay, here's a concept drawing of what it might look like. The current station is 5,500 feet. This one's 14,000 feet, so we'll have room for 4 vehicles. And one will be a wildfire brush truck, so it'll have a tank of water on it, so we can go out into a field if there's fire. Wildfires, what is the summer gonna be like? It's probably gonna be bad wildfires. It should be nice to have a wildfire response truck right here. Okay, so this is a $20 million project. And I want you to know that we did the comps. We evaluated 9 other stations, got the standard cost per square foot, and tried to do a careful job of costing this so that we didn't have a lowball thing here on the ballot. And so this is the standard cost for a fire station this side, plus the soft costs 30%. That's standard to build in. You might be far away. There you go. That's it. Just skip a slide. Okay, so we have formed a PAC. So there's a citizen committee for all volunteers, and we are working together to get publicity around this and to try to encourage people to come out and vote yes on this. So at the moment, we have 9 endorsements going into the voters pamphlet that you'll see coming out for the May election. And many of the local organizations in town, many of your friends and neighbors have endorsed this. If you would like to endorse it, you can go to our website, Lake Oswego firestationrebuild.com. And I've got some brochures in the back and some buttons so that you can scan with your phone and get there. And we would love to have your name on the list as a supporter. And we're always looking for volunteers. We've got some canvassing, which will be fun. We've got a couple of fun projects to do in the weekends leading up to the election, where you could go around and knock on your neighbor's door, see what the inside of their house looks like, and ask them to come out. And we'd love it if you volunteer for that. And come to our website if you want to make a donation. We're all volunteers, but it costs money to put letters in the voters pamphlet. We make yard signs, so we appreciate any support. And there's also a kids art contest. So if you have kids or grandchildren, that might be a fun way for them to participate. And then your job is to vote yes. Just as a matter of information, the millage rate is 19 cents per $1,000 of assessed value. So if your house is worth $600,000, it's $114 taxes. Is what it's cost. All right. And then we'll maintain our wonderful response rate and recovery rates. And if there are any questions, you always have Chris Dirk, who's a man and Harry knows it. Thank you so much.
Question, will the existing fire station be able to be open during construction of the new one?
So the cost, good question. The question was, will the existing fire station remain open? No, but to maintain the service levels, the cost estimate includes a temporary fire station. There's that extra land there, and so they will bring in a temporary station that'll be something they can roll in on a truck, like giant motorhome or Quonset hut or something to house the firefighters and the trucks so that service can be maintained during construction. Good question. I should have said that during the talk.
Other questions? I would like to, oh, yes,
When would
sir.
it start and when would it be done?
Construction should start probably end of second quarter next year and probably be 12 or 14-month construction schedule. Thank you. I'd like to recognize a couple of board members that just arrived, David Westerdahl and Elisa Williams. Okay. Chair report. Some of you probably know this already, but the mission of our neighborhood association is to serve as a citizen advisory body that works to enhance neighborhood identity and character and provide input to elected officials on critical matters affecting our neighborhood. We're not an HOA, we're not a regulatory board. All residents are automatically members, no cost to join, and there are no dues. I encourage everyone to subscribe. If you don't subscribe to our newsletter, there's a ton of information in there. It comes out once a month. Your email addresses are absolutely confidential. We don't give them away. We don't sell them. And we promise we won't barrage you with lots and lots of emails during the month. Generally, you only get one email a month, and that's the newsletter, unless there's some urgent piece of news that we want you to have. We want to hear from you. So there's a way to do that on the newsletter, on our website. Let us know your thoughts and concerns. We meet every month, 7 o'clock, second Thursday of each month, usually by Zoom. This is unique. This is our annual general meeting, but normally we meet by Zoom. And the Zoom link is on the website. Just go to our website, follow through meetings, and you click on the Zoom link and boom, you're in the meeting. No registration. So first bit of old business, we need to approve the meeting minutes from previous meetings. This is for the board. So I move that we approve the March meeting minutes.
And second.
Second, Nancy, thank you. All in favor? Excellent, thank you. That passes. Okay, for tonight's voting, we have two ballots tonight. The first, and first of all, they're for residents only. And I'd like to ask all of you, if you've already voted online, don't vote again here, please. So the two ballots. The first is for a bylaw modification or amendment, and the second is for the area representatives in each area and for chair. For those on the Zoom meeting, they can vote on either of these through chat and just enter your name, address, and then how you wish to vote. So let's talk about the bylaw amendment. That's the first one. Area 6 is one of the two areas that that has been vacant in terms of board representation for a little over 2 years. Our mission is most effectively served when we have a full board, people that are actively engaged in serving the community. A board candidate has come forward, interested in serving as representative for Area 6, but he lives in Area 5, right on the edge. His backyard is the border with Area 6. So the board discussed this and decided, you know what, we'd rather have an active and willing board member serving the community than come down and say, look, technically you're not allowed to be a board member because we already have a representative for Area 6. So, or Area 5, that's carried. So we decided a bylaw amendment would be best to set a precedent and clarify this. So the bylaw amendment will allow a candidate to represent a P&A area other than the one in which he resides on 3 conditions. That board position has been open for at least 6 months. And if the candidate resides within 200 yards of the border, and if all 5 endorsers, any candidate for board position needs to have 5 endorsers. So all 5 endorsers reside in the subject area. Our bylaws require city planning staff to approve any bylaw amendment. Planning staff confirmed their approval on February 26th. In February, in a board, we voted to support the amendment and to bring it before all of you in the general meeting. We have a few copies of the current bylaws if anyone would like to see them. It's riveting reading. The bylaw amendment requires a vote by P&A members at the general meeting, and the measure passes with the approval of 2/3 of those voting. So, I move that we amend the bylaws with the addition of Article 2A to Article 5. A board member may represent a P&A area other than that in which he or she lives, if that person resides within 200 yards of the subject area. The subject area has been without board representation for at least 6 months, and all 5 endorsers reside in the subject area. Is there a second?
I second.
Second, Nancy? Okay, any discussion? Questions? Okay,
Has everybody voted that wishes to be, this is the ballot for, the bylaw change.
So is this something going now or
Yeah.
turn in the end?
Oh,
either way,
you can fold it and I
Either way.
can collect it, but if you need one,
I need a
thank
pen.
you, I will get you a pen.
there's a box.
No problem.
There's a box in the far back corner where David is, where you can put your ballots.
Okay, yeah. You voted?
So Chris, I voted online for people, but this was not online, right? This is a paper ballot.
Ballot.
Right. That's important for people to understand.
Did you? Anybody else need one? Get one? Okay.
Okay, the second ballot tonight is for area reps and chair. And right now, all of the existing board members, we are fortunate, have all decided they want to stay on the team. And so they're all running as incumbents and there are no challengers. So it's pretty straightforward. If you would fill out that ballot, which is a separate piece of paper. I'll let you start passing them around. We don't have one already.
Who needs the ballot?
Does that need to be done now or turn in later?
You can turn this in before you leave tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, 9 o'clock, the voting, the ballot ends.
Didn't pick up.
And for this ballot, we need to know what area you're in. You need to know what area you're in because you're voting for the area rep in your area. So there's a map on the wall right back there. You can look at the map and see what area you're in, 1 through 13. And then check that box and then vote for the area manager, area representative, or a write-in if you wish.
Did you leave any of those out there or was that all of it?
I'll read them.
We got to grab them all.
Okay.
Anyone else? Need a paper ballot?
Okay, moving on. So my chair report. Now, this is my report as chair. These are my goals for this year, which are pretty similar to the goals that I had when my term started last April. Strengthen P&A's reach and connection with Palisades neighbors. 2, expand P&A's influence and relationship with the city. I think that second one, we've been very successful in. 3rd, fill open positions, area 6 and area 13. 4, pass the South Shore Fire Station bond measure. And also, I didn't know if I mentioned, feel free to ask questions at any point during the meeting. We're now going to go through board reports from each of the board members on their areas of interest. So if you have a question when they're done, just raise your hand and interrupt us.
Yeah, before we go into that, I just have a few things I want to mention as the vice chair report. One is Frederick, thank you for coming. She really spearheaded P&A's involvement with National Night Out. 2 years ago, I do believe it started, and we've taken that as part of an initiative on the board level. It is something that the city puts a lot of resources to. And we have piggybacked on that, and we had 8 registered, but with the city last year, National Night Out, which is in August, the first Tuesday of in August every year. It's a national event. And so we're hoping to build that. There was more than 8, but 8 actually registered with the city.
Very,
Yes.
describe what National Night Out is.
Yeah, we have some coming. I think David's gonna talk about it, and then I think it comes up again. So, National Night Out, David, with our emergency preparedness, it's gonna be up, and we can kind of talk more about it. The community survey, some of you might have taken it. Thank you if you did. It has closed. In the next coming month, you're going to see the results of that survey on our website, and it will be shared in our newsletter. It's something, again, that previous boards have done, and we're following suit. Every 2 years, we will be putting a community survey out. Please give us your opinion, and you'll be seeing the results of that soon. And then just encouraging anybody that's interested in the Palisades neighborhood to serve on any volunteer board at the city level. Please reach out to us. I'm on the budgetary committee. I'm in my 2nd year of a 4-year term. There's other members here that will talk about their involvement with the city. This is all volunteer, citizen volunteer, and we want to encourage people in our neighborhood to get out and serve on these boards as well. And so Chris and I, Elisa, David, a handful, Jenny works with the schools. We're all here for you to, talk you through the process. They go through once a year for applications. Okay, on that note, I'm going to just jump next to something that Chris mentioned. At this point, we're going to invite board members who oversee committees and initiatives within our organization to come up and present. And this is a business meeting for us. Just FYI, there is business to conduct for the month. And so, John, our outgoing treasurer, the floor is yours.
Thank you for your support. Everything okay? Okay, so our current balance in our Home Street bank account is $511.61. Home Street Bank has merged with Mechanics Bank.
Yeah, we'll be closer. Gotta just hold a little
A
bit.
little bit better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So our new account with Mechanics Bank is an online banking plus account. I've updated our user ID and password information and provided it to Chris. The minimum balance for our account has increased from $200 to $500 with the new Mechanics Bank account. So we'll need to increase the amount in our account to $500 or pay a $5 a month fee. Chris has been looking into other banking alternatives. So in the meantime, I donated $40 to get us over the $500 threshold, so we won't have pay that monthly fee. So pending reimbursements, there are no pending reimbursements at this time. The city sent me a reimbursement check for our previous expenses, and I distribute them the funds accordingly. You got your check? Chris?
Yeah.
You got your check? Yep. Okay. So to date, there have been $586.56 of reimbursements submitted and paid by the city. There's $1,000 awarded annually to each neighborhood association. So we've got some yet to spend. So as far as coordinating city grant funds, most of the PNA funding comes from the city's pre-approved expenses and do not require applications for additional resources. PNA has traditionally had 2 signatories for our business savings account, the PNA treasurer and the PNA chair. My understanding is that Cyrus Lee will be replacing me as the new PNA treasurer. And once he's been approved by the board and the status of our banks has been determined, Cyrus will need to fill out the appropriate paperwork to become a signatory to the PNA account. So as usual, PNA residents are encouraged to donate to our neighborhood association. For information about the projected expenses and how to donate, refer to Get Involved, I Want to Donate page on the Palisades Neighborhood.org website. Concerns? Comments?
Thank you.
Thank you, John, for 2 years of valiant service as our treasurer.
Four.
Okay. Next,
David.
David.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me? My name is David Westerdahl. I'm the Area 12 rep, and it's been a privilege to serve on the PNA Association for the past year and a half, and I have to thank Frederic for getting me involved in emergency preparedness as well as National Night Out, which Frederic has spent a lot of time spearheading. It's something where we had over 40 communities in Lake Oswego host or 40 locations for National Night Out last year. And we would certainly love to have a lot more of those within our own community here in Palisades. To be honest, I hosted this location here in Palisades and I wasn't sure if anyone was going to show up, but sure enough, people showed up. And when a neighbor brought a bottle of local wine, a lot more people showed up. But not advocating for that. But it's a great way to get to know neighbors, of course. And Elise and I were just at a meeting earlier this evening, and the city is all into National Night Out, and it's going to be August 4th this year. So it's the first Tuesday of the month. So pencil in August 4th and look for additional announcements from the city as well as on our newsletter. We're going to try and encourage as many local residents as possible to get involved in the different areas, as well as we'll have opportunities to join up with other parties or gatherings for National Night Out. Another role that I have is related to emergency preparedness, and I wasn't quite sure what that meant when I first got involved with the association, but it's really been a great opportunity to work towards essentially providing practical advice and information for our local residents through the newsletter and through our website. So we've had the opportunity to blog about certain topics that are relevant to our community, as well as interview local firefighters, insurance agents, and just provide local real-time advice that might be emergency preparedness related for you as the residents in the community. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Bob?
Hi, thank you, Chris. My name's Robert. I live in an area of 11, and I'm the traffic and pathways representative for Palisades. So I would say, one of our primary functions is really to, be the eyes and ears of the neighborhood. And we're in, we have concerns, make sure that those concerns get heard by the city, connect them to the right city resources. So we work with the traffic engineer and other staff members of the police department to basically provide feedback on, concerns of our Palisades neighborhood residents. So, things that we've been involved in recently, of course, there's been a lot of changes, we know, on Stafford Road. So we've been giving feedback, parking concerns, pedestrian concerns along there, as well as we generally always get parking concerns related to the high school and other traffic concerns around the entire area of the high school. And then recently we've also, got some input related to the new LORAC, so Lake Oswego Recreation and Aquatic Center. Some of the residents that are actually in the Stafford home over there, if you go down, you can see the sidewalk kind of ends there. There's not a good crossing path unless you go down to the light at Stafford Road. So, those are the type of issues that we help. And I encourage anybody here that has an issue to really raise it. And, we'll work with the city to make sure that those are heard and that, solutions can start getting developed to address the concerns of the residents.
Question?
Yeah, sure, questions?
Just a comment, I've had issues with the speeding on South Shore in the past. Contacted the city about it and have been told it's a thoroughfare. You cannot lower the speed limit to what it is right now. You're just gonna have to live with it. So just be advised.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And that's one thing that I was trying to indicate earlier is that, when the residents speak out, we might not always have immediate action taken, or there might, we generally have suggestions for what we'd see like to have happen, if it's a stoplight. But I know the city takes that feedback very seriously. And if we don't provide it, then nothing's ever gonna happen. So thanks, John, for providing that, and I think it's just another message, you know, the more people that give feedback like that, then the more likely it is that we're gonna see the city act on it.
Yeah, they said it's a state matter because it's a thoroughfare and they can't do anything about it.
I think. Any other questions?
Oh, I'm actually here because my son. Hi, my name is Tammy Cardoche. I'm from Area 6. I'm here because my son was hit by a car walking home from school last week. And this kind of ties into the fire station. Their response time was impeccable. My girlfriend, who was 2 cars behind the person that hit my son, called me. And my house was 25, 50 yards away, so I ran to him because I was able to see him. And shortly, like within minutes, the fire department was there. I think 5 minutes later is when the police department came. So there is a very big difference if we have to wait from the downtown LO fire department. But I've raised the concern to traffic engineers because the place where he crosses is Green Tree Road and Carter Place. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the area, but there's a little park there. And it's I believe, an unmarked crosswalk. And so he crosses there every day. So does all the high school students that walk home and a few other, neighborhood kids. And I would like to have a painted crosswalk, maybe a sign that flashes and some flags, because I've seen this in, I believe it's the River Grove area where Childs Road and Bryant's. They have so many in that neighborhood. It's obscene how if you drive down just one road, there's 2 of those. And Palisades doesn't have any of them. And all I want is for my son and other kids to feel safe and for this not to happen to anyone else.
Thank you for.
That's why we exist. So we'll stay in communication. I mentioned that Sergeant Earl Hall with the police department will be our guest speaker in May. So John, get his attention then. And then I think as a follow-up, maybe we can set a meeting with Will Farley. Sure. And, bring this to head.
I did email, so all the steps that I've taken, I've taken quite a few steps since he's been hit. I reached out to traffic engineer, city traffic engineer, sent them an email. I'm not sure if it was Bill Farley who responded back to me, but this person sent me a request form, which I filled out. So has Principal Bird from the school because he was right there when it got hit as well. A few other parents in Aiden's class, my son, had also filled out the form. And then I've also spoken to Dr. Sheely, the superintendent, and she's reached out to Noah, who's the principal. So I feel like I've reached out to as many people as I'm aware of. And if there's any more people that I can reach out to, I will be happy to go to their office, knock on the door and say, okay, look, I have a case number.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll just reiterate, I mean, I worked with the city staff. I was a plan commissioner for over 8 years. And the city takes these type of situations very seriously. And all the Palisades neighborhood, the board members here, we want to help. So I will definitely work with you to try to find a solution and address the concern.
I don't know if this really matters, but my neighbor, Luke, who lives right next to me, had told me that for years, the Palisades was a regular school, not a language school. They had been trying to urge the city to put some type of crossing or signage, and the city kept turning them down. What I'm worried about is they're going to just make this not an important issue, or say that it's too expensive to put a metal pole with a metal sign that says slow down or like lights. But I think it's so frustrating to know that other neighborhoods have such better safety implementations for pedestrians, and ours seems like they don't really have much of anything.
Yeah, it's a good point. And we'll do our best to help. So thank you for bringing in that.
Physically, he's fine.
mentally, we're working on it. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Okay, oh, yes.
How do we let, like, Rob know, like, is there a place on the website?
Yeah, I think generally what we see is that people send mail through the Palisades website. And I think it gets routed, like, there was one concern that just came up today, to give an example, and it was like Ridge Lake Drive, and again, associated with the high school. So they submitted it through the website, it went to the chair, and the chair lets me know, as well as I think the board members also. So yeah, feel free to use the website.
Yeah, I get it, they will pay attention, I watch it every day, we'll pay attention to that. The one came to me at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and Rob's already, so just let us know. Next is Meg Wilkinson, area rep, for area 9. Meg is not with us tonight, unfortunately, but, her area of expertise is land, use issues. And, I was the land use person before Meg, so I can give a quick report. We represent PA on land use applications. We have a chance that the city has this process called a pre-app, where the architect and the owner can come in and meet with the planning staff, and they go through all the rules that you're gonna have to follow and what variances might be required. It's really good, very, very early stage kind of plan check process. We get invited to that as a neighborhood. So either Meg or I go to all of those. And so we're aware of what people are proposing. We can either express concern or come back to the board, bring it to the board's attention. And so we get involved with those. We present PA board and neighborhood positions on land use issues at city council. That started years ago with Receipt Park. We actually had quite a few battles with city council over the Receipt Park project, which actually ended happily.
Yeah.
With Nancy's help and Jenny's help. And we were able to work with the city to secure a grant with. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry, let's tell your. So that's it on land use. Are there any questions?
With that. Nancy?
My name's Nancy Sage, I cover area 8, and I also cover Parks and Rec. We've been very busy the last several years. Those of you who've been in the neighborhood know there's been a lot of construction. Lake Oswego Recreation and Aquatic Center, Receipt Park, and plenty else, Azalea Field. So we've been attached to all of those in terms of what the plans are, why they're doing what they're doing. Is it what the neighbors want? That's the key question. Is it what the neighbors want? So an example is with Receipt Park. We ran a survey after we saw the plans for a sports field. And the neighborhood said, the sports field is fine, but we need a playground for little kids. Demographically, the south side of the lake has more young families than any other neighborhood. And they wanted a place to take the little kids. So we lobbied the city. And there was, there were a lot of back and forth and where do we find the money and all of that. It took a few years to actually implement the playground that's there, but it was because of our PNA's involvement that we have one now, and it's what the neighbors wanted. So that's the key here is we want what you want. And there was a lot of back and forth, and we had to go to the state for a grant. And it was actually adorable. We had 6, 7, 8-year-olds explaining why they want a playground to the state officials. They had colored drawings and it's adorable, but we got the money and we now have a playground. With Lorac, the Sunny Hills neighborhood was worried about golf balls because they had a historical problem of golf balls in their neighborhood. They said, please fix it when you redo this. And they said, yeah, we gotcha. We got you. And then they put everything in. It took a few years, new driving range. They changed the angle a little bit, whatever. They turn on everything and immediately golf balls start landing in backyards, hitting houses, over houses into the street. And so we were involved in that. So we worked with Parks and Rec people. luckily there were simple solutions for that. And it was multi-step, but these are the kinds of things that we do. So that's a little bit of history. So LORAC, Racine also has a skate park, and that was a skater community group that stepped forward for that. So while what's interesting with Racine, they said we want a sports field. And if you look now, you'll see there's not one of those, but we have the playground that we asked for and this skating for the skateboarders. So sports field will come sometime down the road. And then
So I have a question.
yeah,
So right now, there is no sports field plan. Correct?
there is a plan. It's a vision, I would say.
Yeah.
It's a vision,
I have a
but
big
it's,
concern about-
there's no
Yeah, I have a
money
big
for it.
Concern about that. I think
Yeah,
the skate park has been well used, and I can see parking is already an issue for the playground.
right. It
And
is.
people are parking on the grass and everything else, so that wasn't very well accommodated. And I'm concerned with the sports park, and then with the traffic, we already have the dog park, we have the yellow, the LORAC. We have, the soccer field.
Sure.
You know, that's all of a sudden a lot of traffic.
Right.
On McVeigh Stafford Road, that it wasn't constructed to handle.
Agreed.
It's already a mess right now during rush hour.
Yeah, we hear that feedback from others, so I'll repeat for those on the Zoom call. Our neighbor's concern is there's so much density with that construction and all around Racine Park. They built, but have not accommodated all needs because cars are parking in the mud, on the grass, you know, and just more congestion. The city's aware of that, Rob is aware of that, and we're working the issue. So before they would add a sports field, they'd have to have a plan to handle the congestion and the.
Just out of curiosity, what would the sports field offer that isn't already available? We have Lake Oswego or Lake Ridge High School. You have the soccer field already. What is it offering that isn't already available?
Right, so the city, to repeat the question, he's asking, why do we need another sports field? Aren't there enough nearby that could be used instead? So this is an unfunded project currently, so we'll see if it actually happens, but it's still slated to happen. They ran a survey of those who partake in sports about schedules, and some kids have to play at 10 o'clock at night. Maybe it's 9:30, but late at night, because that's what the schedule allows, because it's so scheduled up. So they're saying, you know, kids should be able to play at an appropriate time for school night or that sort of thing. So they believe there's a need. I'm sure it'll be reassessed before they move forward.
I was
Rob?
gonna add the specific, oh, sorry. Yeah, the specific thing that they said that we're missing in Lake Oswego was girls softball fields. And so there was a large amount of Lake Oswego residents who were associated with the girls softball program that came out and really advocated as strong as they could to say, you know, there's no girls softball fields, and that's what needs to go in there. They were promised. And some of the history on it, I guess, goes back to Lake Ridge Junior High. When Lake Ridge Junior High was built, I think they converted some of the fields that were back there into a track. And so the softball advocates were saying that that took away some fields and they needed. But since then, it's been pretty quiet. And I think the residents look around, as you drive through Lake Oswego, you look at George Rogers Park, you look at Lake Ridge High School, you look at a number of these sites, you don't see they're like, you know, utilized 24/7. So, you know, that
there's what, 2 or 3 fields at Lake Ridge Junior High is there in that area.
yeah. So, yeah, so it may come back, but as Nancy was saying, there was a master plan. And I mentioned earlier, I was on the plan commission. When we reviewed those changes for receipt specifically, the plan commission said no, because the infrastructure is not there to support it. The roads are not there. It's a big concern. But the counselors overrode us and the mayor overrode us and approved it. So he said, if we want to make change, you know, that's part of what the neighborhood association does here. Say, you know, we're all voters and, you know, we want to hear the residents, you know, listen to and the actions taken, not go against us.
You can give it, yeah, I'll use this one. So in fact, speaking of fields, there was also kind of a grand plan, but no funding. Is this working? Okay.
It's on and off.
If you know Azalea Sports Field, they wanted to put another sports field further east of that, so they'd be side by side fields. But they have since said, we're gonna cancel that because access is a problem. So that's one that was removed from their slate, so there's some good news for you. Reseek, I think, is TBD. But that was the original idea, was a sports field. So now we have the two things I mentioned and not yet a sports field. We'll see when it develops and we'll get involved. DNA will get involved.
I would encourage expanding the parking for the playground.
Yeah.
It is very well used.
So,
And so is the skate park.
right, I heard from Parks and Rec last week, they're gonna put down rock where there's mud. So that it could be parking.
It's already.
It's already there. Okay, so that was done. All right. So, so that's it. That's kind of a looking back thing. Looking forward, the good news for this neighborhood is all that big construction is done. Everything going forward are mostly little things until there's money for a field or whatever. It's all small stuff that I have to report now, so this will be quick. They improved the dog park recently by improving drainage for those of you that use the big dog park at Azalea. Reseek, they're adding gravel, I just mentioned. Reseek will see an art installation on one of the garage doors for one of the storage sheds over there. It'll be a skater oriented piece of art. The city requires 1.5% of project funds to be spent toward art. So that's coming our way. I don't have details on that. And then Lusher, we are in violation of our current permit for the uses at Lusher. And so all that means is we have to legitimize what is being done at Lusher. So they have a big stack of paperwork they'll submit to the county because that's county area, county land, just to document everything we're doing at Lusher so that it's all squared up. So hopefully that's straightforward. And then next big projects for the city are not in Palisades, but in case you haven't heard, they're going to connect some pathways from, they call it the Willamette River Greenway. So George Rogers will be connected to Foothills and War Park, so it'll be continuous. So that should be finished by the fall. That's not our neighborhood, but thought I'd mention it. That's all I have unless you have questions. Any questions? No. Okay, thank you.
So back. So I work on the newsletter every month, and I work on the website. Although the framework was done and completed, so I just got handed this awesome sports car that I get to update every month. So it's like really easy. And yard signs. So those are the three pieces of communication that we use on a regular basis to speak to our community. And just a thought about the sports field, can you go to our or write a comment and leave your name so we can follow up with you on that? Because we want to make sure we retain that information so we can move it forward. If that comes up, we can start rallying. So again, website, we try every month to refresh the content. We do have a lot of neighbors that use it as a way to communicate with us. Thank you so much. Continue to communicate. Like they said, Chris as chair receives that email and then sends it out to the appropriate people on the board. The newsletter, we try to cover mostly Palisades, but we do have other Lake Oswego information in there as well. And then our yard signs, it's really about subscribing so you get our information, and it's about any sort of event that we're hosting. We've done training at South Shore in the past. We'll be reminding you to vote on the bond. And I'm not sure if we discussed this, but the board did vote to endorse the bond. So you're going to see messaging coming out regarding measure 3635. Yeah, so if you see a yard sign in the woods, I'm the person to give it back to. Okay, everybody, it's me. Any questions about communication in Palisades Neighborhood Association? Okay, on that, I'm gonna invite Jenny. You really do have to literally put it up to your mouth.
Good evening, I'm Jenny Cherry Tree and I'm the area board rep. I'm also the schools coordinator and I'm here to give an update on the school bond that passed. So thank you all, but I'm going to begin by letting you know I'm also a mother of 3 children that go to the Palisades World Language School. I have a 5th grader and 2 3rd graders, and after the accident, they were playing in basketball at the school and saw the aftermath. And as a family, we walk to school every day with our kids because we nearly get hit every week around here. So I just want to be really, it's not anyone here, I'm sure, but there are so many people that are driving way too fast in our neighborhood. And there's a lot of high schoolers are driving way too fast. People just don't stop for pedestrians anymore. So I just want to please ask each of you to go home and talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your neighbors, and talk about being more safe with pedestrians. So thank you very much. Real quick, Palisades World Language School, as you know, we have Mandarin and Spanish. The public school, it's open to everybody. It's an option here in Lake Oswego. And we've run out of classrooms, so the bond is going to help build more classrooms for us. Construction will begin next summer and actually go through the school year. So construction will be happening during classes, during school, and it'll be a great opportunity for kids to see a transformation in action. The plans are still preliminary, and once they're more formed, there will be a public comment period and people will share, and you'll have a chance to share any feedback you have. For Lake Ridge High School, with the passing of the bond, they are actually this summer, they're starting to make improvements. So very specific things. They're going to replace the windows on the north side. They're going to fix the stucco. They're going to paint. They're going to be replacing flooring throughout the school and making a lot of repairs to make sure that school is up to par. So thank you very much. Do you have any questions? No? All right, that's it. I keep forgetting. We also have an art contest for children. The theme is honoring our firefighters. So if you have any children you're connected to in the neighborhood, please encourage them to participate. The art contest is to raise awareness of the bond that we'd like to get passed, but also honor our firefighters. And the focus is on you can do anything you want when it comes to the art, but the focus is on firefighting. So you can do a fire truck, you can do firefighters fighting a fire, educating people, anything you want. We're very open, but it has to be in the fire theme that we're focusing on. So please participate. The deadline is the 21st. Yes.
I have a question back about the school. There, crossing guard?
We do have 2 crossing guards, but one is in front of the school and one is on the side, and it's within just right in front of the school, but not on the sides of the school. So I think when you're talking about other neighborhoods, they have crossing guards in other places. We only have staff for 2 crossing guards.
Where is it?
The crossing guards?
No, the school.
The school's right up the street. So it's at Green Tree Road and Green Tree Avenue is the corner.
There's a stop sign there, right?
Yep, there's a 4-way stop sign and it's very fascinating. People don't stop. Yeah, there's a little crosswalk right there, but down the street there isn't one. And they just actually did the whole, they went in and painted this weekend to make sure that people know where to stop and around the school, but not outside the school. So that's where we need to improve. There's a lot of areas that can be improved within the facility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right there,
Yeah.
right
Right.
at the playground.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, even in front where the Carter place is, there's no protected or signage or anything. And
no, it's just a straight.
yeah, and in fact, if you go if you're leaving towards and you're going towards McVeigh, it says that the school zone ends before Carter Place, but the school extends far beyond that, and there's a gate in the back that sometimes kids use, sometimes kids don't use. But that signage should be there. It should be put much further down towards or closer towards going towards McVeigh.
Is it Rose lives in the corner there? Is that?
Yeah.
Is that neighbor? She always has signs up that say
She
slow
has
down,
signs.
but people just speed up from that place. I don't know, the other way.
Long straight. road.
Yeah,
it's no joke.
Just looking at the stop sign.
Yeah.
Down again, I have 5 girls, and they see 3 of them went to Palisades, and some of them walked to Lake Ridge because you live right
So close.
right above that there, so I'm familiar with, in fact, they were crossing guards. I'm sure, a couple of them back when it was Palisades Elementary. But,
That's correct, there were, so that's what Luke told me was at Carter Place to Green Tree Road, there used to be crossing guards that were, I guess, volunteered by.
the only ones are, the only ones are right up from school,
Oh.
across the street, right from the.
That's where the crossing guards are still.
Yeah,
What I would like to have is crossing guards, because we have a lot of kids in that neighborhood now, in the circle.
there are, yes.
And they all cross right there, even parents without kids, they cross right there. And, you know, either we need crossing guards or we need.
We used to have to cross at the stop sign,
Yeah.
like, and then go around like by the
Right,
church.
no one does, I mean,
No, I know, it's just like that's like the only, like,
that's only.
the protected place. And then it's also, there's no sidewalks on the other side of the school, it stops.
Yes,
So like to get to the high school, like if you wanted to continue walking, there's no sidewalks
on either side.
on it, yeah. Which is, I think, an issue too. Oh, yes.
We live across the street from, like, Westwood, there's speed bumps there, they don't slow anything down. Is there anybody able to raise the issue of raising speed bumps? We did it in Seattle. And made a real difference, slow traffic down, slow the speeds down, because there's not always crossing guards out there.
Right, I know too.
Across the street.
Yeah, because
Yeah, it's a good question. We had discussion with the city in the year, and they have very specific standards. They think the firemen always provide feedback that, you know, it impacts the health times to address folks in need. And then also, I think the police department, I'm forgetting the sergeant, traffic sergeant, he's now flying. But he also came up next to us to say that they're called speed versions, and there's specific standards that you should be able to go across them at 25 miles an hour. And if they're any higher than that, then they're in that violation of the government standard, the federal government standard of the small traffic. Yeah, the quick schools.
there's cushions by the high school, they just were the new sidewalk.
Yeah, with spots in between them too, so it's a little bit newer style of cushion.
slots are for emergency vehicles.
Yeah. So yes, it is, I mean, you've got that feedback, you've had a discussion with that, thanks for raising them.
Thank you.
Okay, bringing up the rear here. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Frederique because of her. I'm involved with the Palisades Neighborhood Association. It's been remarkable experience. After I got involved with the Palisades Association, I got mentorship from Chris to get on a city advisory board. And that has also been a fantastic experience. I'm on that board with David Westerdahl. It's a new board for the city called the Community Health and Resilience Advisory Board, and it's really working to build resilience for our city and also to have better emergency response. We are really getting some great traction. A gentleman who lives in the Palisades neighborhood inspired our current project, which is called 4 From Your Door, which is encouraging neighbors to just share contact information. So if we have an emergency, you can at least know how to reach out to your neighbor. So very excited about that. Because of the credibility of the Palisades Neighborhood Association, we have a lot of people listening to that board because we've got David, myself from Palisades. They know Chris really well. In fact, the fire station was there tonight, the South Shore Fire Station. And you can just tell the difference when you mention that you're from the Palisades Neighborhood Association, that people immediately listen and take you seriously. And they always compliment how well run this association is. So I just couldn't resist giving that plug. I'm looking forward. I know David and I are engaging the community more in what we're looking to do to build resilience. The Palisades neighborhood has a lot of power outages and other issues that make us very isolated in a storm. And how do we address that? And tonight we were able to give feedback to the city about means of communications that don't require power, because we all lose our power during the many of our events. So it's the direct influence and it's making a difference and also it's just really kind of fun hanging out with these people. So anyway, wanted to give that plug. And to that point, we under the inspiration of both Frederic and Chris, we are really trying to get not only our one-way communication out, but our two-way communication. Critical to that is our Nextdoor page. So please go to the Palisades neighborhood Lake Oswego page on Nextdoor. Please follow us and please communicate with us there. Because as Chris has pointed out, the more audience we build, the more influence we have to address the issues like the crosswalk we discussed and speed limits and sports parks and everything else. So please go there, engage with us. It's another place where we will get back to you. As soon as I see something there, I reach out to Chris and he's on it. Just it's you know how these social networks are. They're built on humans. You know, they need humans interacting and they get more powerful. So please support us. I post something every week on there. I poach Carrie loves content. And so there's something new there all the time. And then you can like us, you can comment, you can fave us. I want to just show you, because of Carrie's content and the things that get written that are original content and information about our neighborhood, we see nice little spikes in our visits to the page. So we're building on this. The not easy to get is the analytics on the impressions that the posts get. They used to be like in the less than 100, and now we're getting between 700 impressions and 1,000 on individual posts. So we're building. It takes time, but please be there because if we have a powerful voice, we will have more influence. So on that note, Chad, back to you.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a friendly reminder that I'm looking for volunteers. It's not always easy to find a volunteer, as you know. But I have found something that quadruples the chances of finding a volunteer. It really, really works.
Oh my God.
So to make sure that I get the volunteers and I don't have to come and visit you. Now I heard this works wonders for people who won't stop for pedestrians as well. So really, volunteers are what drives us. We're all volunteers and all of our hearts are in this. So we are still looking for people to help us with social media, emergency response, community events, projects, and then we still need a rep for area 13. So that's the last one. So if you know somebody that's inclined to do that, or even if they're not, let me know and I can go and visit them. No, really, thank you for considering that, but volunteers are always welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You know, I hope you can see, we really have fun on this board. We have a lot of fun. It's fun being on the board. We have an amazing team of really hardworking people. So if you're interested, get involved. Don't have to get involved as a board member. You can get involved as a volunteer, many other things. So that's the fun side. Let me tell you, I think there's a serious side. How many subscribe to the newsletter? Raise your hand if you subscribe. Okay, good. It's almost everybody here. When I got involved with PNA about 4 or 5 years ago on land, we go to city council. And frankly, they wouldn't give us the time of day. We weren't really getting the respect that I thought we were due. And what we were asking for received, they were essentially ignoring. And so when I ran for chair last year, my top goal, please subscribe, because that way we sit down in front of city council those counselors know we have 1,000 subscribers that are listening to what's going on and what we're presenting. That brings a lot of weight. And so I would encourage, if you don't subscribe right yet, please sign up to subscribe. And there really is a lot of interesting information. Nancy's history articles are a hoot. See what's going on and about our city's history, and great variety of news. So, public comments. We'd like to keep it to 2 minutes. We have a timekeeper. So, if anyone would like to make a comment on anything that is on your mind.
Michael. It might work. You just have to ask.
I don't think you did.
Okay.
Michael, I'd like to thank Chris for inviting me here. We met at the event at the firehouse. And you were saying I heard this and that. It's really good before. We told about this. I feel like it. 6 or 7 years now. I'm representing. I'm in area 11. Full meet, I guess. I'm really representing the Ridge Lake Park HOA. We're the neighborhood directly across the street from Lake Ridge High School. The neighborhood's really been transitioning. We've got a lot of empty nesters, a lot of people moving out, but also young families. Like during this period of time, the last 5 to 10 years, there wasn't a lot. There was more maintenance of the green spaces alongside the tennis courts and further into the call set. What we're really looking to do is to kind of really address some of the issues that have gone without paving down for a bit of time. The entryway sign, which is a pretty big eyesore. If you get a chance to walk by, there's a big moss covered, mold covered brick wall with a big box in front of it. It's a whole Compel or GTE box. My personal best project has been to do something with that or a proper sign on that wall. But we're stuck with this phone box in front of the wall. And I'm sure some of the neighborhoods have had to deal with some infrastructure installed telephone box, and we found out who owns it now. That's something we really have to figure out how to remove, just so we can do something there. Ever aside, just to do some landscaping in that area, we'll work on that. So I was hoping, and again, and I'm sure we'll be able to talk more with Chris, maybe we can talk. But I'm really here to find out if we're really give some guidance, find out if anyone else, any other neighborhoods that deal with situations like that. We've had to remove something that's there and track down the actual ownership of this. If there's help within the city, if we might reach out to.
We should talk offline. I need to go look at it, but let's you run talk.
Okay, this is thing up. It's just that it's a wall with a big green box sticking up the front of it. They're a bit of a hedge in front where it's died. And so we're really looking to do something that has to go. It's right in front of the tents. So you have to spread it. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you, Michael. Anybody else?
Okay.
Well, I think. Is there someone else?
No.
Okay, that's it. Okay, then thank you all for coming. We're adjourned. We got plenty of goodies in the back. And I need to have the board members hang around for just a minute. If you would come up here, we need to have a quick vote for officers. Thanks. Thank you, everybody.